Never buy this solar technology. Solar panels last a really long time. They have lasted at least 25 years because their stated warranty says they'll still produce 80%, and they'll last longer than that. Panels can last 35 years, maybe even some as long as 50 years. So don't get caught buying the wrong solar panel because you'll hate it for 25 years. I'm Joel Robinson. I'm a founder, builder, pilot, and entrepreneur in Montana. And I want to give you the information to buy your own solar and battery system so that you can join the renewable energy transition. Let's talk about a few different types of solar technology so you can understand what I mean. Solar panels have changed a lot in the last 5 years alone, let alone since 1997. I've got a panel here today that I took down from a customer that was still working. And it was manufactured in 97, probably installed in 1999, and lasted at least 23 years, and it was still working. But the customer was ready to upgrade, and it was time for something new. So let's talk about the solar panels you don't want. Okay, you do not want blue solar panels with silver frames that look like it has snowflakes on it. All right, you might find a good deal, or someone might tell you that these are still really good panels, but don't do it because you do not want that panel on your roof for 25 more years. They're totally outdated. We don't see these in the field anymore, but every once in a while we'll still see a discount pallet or some wholesaler trying to get rid of these. I always say that there's a wife or a grandma or someone that's going to see those and say, those look terrible. I can't believe you bought those. So let's make sure they look good in addition to producing a lot of power. All right, the second solar technology I want to talk to you about is a bifacial solar panel. And this is much more common just in the last couple of years. Not only does the front of the solar panel absorb energy from the sun, so does the back. So bifacial meaning two-sided. It's a two-sided solar panel. And really, just recently, we're seeing a lot of bifacials. Still see some monofacial solar panels out there, and they work fine. But bifacials can produce beyond their rated values. They can really perform at a high level under ideal test conditions. And usually that means that they're installed on a ground mount or some way for the sun or ambient light to get to the back. Okay, you got bifacial solar panels, got to get some light around to the back, and usually that means having an open area in the back. So that's ground mounts. All right, the third technology I want to talk about is a commercial grade solar panel. Okay, these solar panels are just bigger. They're gigantic. Okay, they're the size of a sheet of plywood, and they can weigh 80 pounds, and they can have full sheets of glass on the front and on the back. These are cheaper than regular solar panels just because they're so big and they're produced at scale. Commercial grade solar panels are a lot of times 550 watts or 540 watts, where most residential panels that we see today are 430, 440, something like that. And even just a few years ago, we were in the 370s and 390s. As we progress, they get bigger. So the commercial grade solar panels really should never be on your home. They're for commercial projects. They're just that. They shouldn't be installed in a residential environment. They're going to be cheap on a per watt basis compared to some other panels, but don't be tempted to buy these because you'll regret it for 25 years, maybe even more. They'll produce well, technically sound, obviously, but they look bad, and they're not really built for racking systems that go on home. Okay, so the last technology I want to talk to you about is a damage-resistant solar panel. So these are solar panels that are intentionally built to resist damage. Usually, we're talking about hail. Hail is one of those things that can really harm solar panels. If you've heard of big hailstorms going through Texas or through the southeast, the size of the hail is larger than in Montana, and the speed at which it hits the panel is faster than in Montana. We don't typically see big destructive hailstorms here, although it does happen. I totally get it. We just don't see it as much. Most of the times I'll hear about Colorado Springs getting really large hail, very damaging to cars, siding, roof, knocks down trees. It will break solar panels. It will shatter them. And that can be a difficult situation because, who's going to pay for it? Typically, it's the homeowner's insurance will end up paying for it. And now they've changed their policies and in that area, you can't add it. So we don't see a lot of hail here in Montana that's that large or see it as a risk. But we do have some other types of technology that are built to be damage resistant. And in Montana, we're talking about snow. A really heavy snow load can crush a solar panel. When the weight is beyond the stated capacity of the panel, they can crack or bow down. I've seen them crack the frames and break the glass. And it's usually on the low end of the array. So as the snow slides down, it piles up and piles up and piles up, and you get an ice dam. That ice dam gets really, really heavy, and it pushes down on the solar panels, and it can break them. So there are solar panels that are resistant to heavy snow load, and it has to do with the frame itself, the thickness of the glass, and the rating. So it's a better rating. It can also change the racking to help that panel survive that heavy snow load, or you can change designs too. But just want to describe different technology in solar panels and how they're built for different areas. So this damage resistant solar panel is one. We get a lot of questions that, does the snow damage the solar panels? Do I have to clean it off? And no, you don't, especially if we size it correctly for the snow load in your area. And some areas in Montana, we only have 20 pounds a square foot of snow load. The Montana State Code is 30 pounds per square foot. And we've installed in some areas near Glacier Park where we're 80 pounds a square foot, 90 pounds a square foot. Really heavy snow loads where snow can pile up 4 or 5 feet. So no, you don't need to clean off your solar panels, but if there's risk of damage of hundreds of pounds of weight on that solar panel, then we should choose the correct solar panel that's damage resistant, and we should design it using the racking in order to withstand those heavy loads. So these are 4 different technologies, 4 different solar panel technologies that I just want to make sure you don't buy the wrong one and own it for 25 years because solar panels last a long time. Okay. And love it or hate it, you should learn how solar works and what you can do to utilize this great technology. So take a look at my other video here and click below to subscribe. Appreciate it.